All right, it's all right, it's all right. We're live on Septic Tank TV tonight. Yes, welcome. Jason here from septictank.co.uk or Septic Tank TV. They're one of the same. So tonight I'm actually going to be answering your questions live. That's right, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Twitter, we're live on YouTube. Man, we really are live across the planet tonight. So I'm going to get straight into this. So I'm literally going to do a 5-minute question and answers. I'm going to try my best to answer your septic tank questions. So if you've got any, then just type them out into the in the box there. You should see like a little panel, and you can type your questions there. So first come, first serve, or whoever's got the best questions. As I said, I'm going to try and answer them. So let's crack on with this. So who have we got? All right. So first of all, we got Sandra from Hampshire. She's asking, my soakaway is blocked. How can I fix it? That's a very, very good question, Sandra. Okay, so your soakaway is blocked. Okay, so you've got 4 options. Okay, so let me give you your options. Okay, so number one, if you're okay, so if I put here blocked soakaway. So Sandra from Hampshire has got a blocked soakaway. Okay, so how can you fix that? Okay, Sandra, you've got 4 options, right? Option number 1, actually probably 5 options, but let's get it. Option number 1, you can empty, right? You can get your septic tank emptied. But in reality, it's not going to fix the problem because you're just sucking out all the water, you're sucking out all the fat, you're sucking out all the grease, which will temporarily get rid of the problem for you. It'll cost you anywhere from 100 to 200 quid a time to get it emptied. It won't fix your soakaway, but it'll allow you room to maneuver, to breathe, right? So that's all it is. It's a temporary solution. Option number 2, you could try and do some rodding. You know, get some pipes. You get your pipes, you screw them together, and then you could actually rod. But I'll be honest with you, rodding doesn't work, Sandra, because if you imagine the soakaway pipes, right, they're surrounded by soil and they're full of fat, grease, and the sludge. So all that will happen is that the pipes will just poke through the fat and the grease and the sludge. It won't actually unblock your soakaway. All right, option number 3. These are options that lots of people do and spend money on: jetting. Now, your septic tank emptying company will say, oh, Sandra, why don't you allow us, give us 150, 250 quid, and we'll fire high-pressured water down into your soakaway pipes. Now, that may seem like a very, very good idea. And they'll fire and blast your soakaway pipes with high-powered water. But all that does is compress the fat and the grease and the sludge in the pipes, because the fat and the grease and the sludge has got nowhere to go. There's no, like, light at the end of the tunnel or hole for it to actually go for it. It'll just compress it and make the problem worse. Okay, so those are the 3 most common options or routes people go down to try and fix their blocked soakaway. For me personally, option number 4 is to replace. All right, you can replace your septic tank soakaway. So I don't know, spend 3, 4, 5,000 quid replacing it. So that's a realistic option. Okay, that's a realistic option. They're all realistic options, but the only one that would really work is number 4, to replace the septic tank and soakaway. But none of those there are viable options for me. If you really want a cheap and cost-effective but realistic solution, I would seriously consider getting yourself a bucket of soakaway worms, right? Soakaway worms. They're tried and tested method. Where we used to live up in Shropshire, you literally would just have been, I used to go down to the end of the garden, I'd lift the tank, and the tanks up there would be full of worms. It used to scare me as a kid, right? But the point is, septic tanks that have got worms in never have any problems. They never get blocked, they never break down, they never need replacing, they never need repairing, Sandra. So they're cheap. They're something like 99 or 149 quid a bucket. Just literally take the lid off, tip the bucket of worms in, put your thing back on. They make their way into the soakaway. They eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge, and they really do unblock soakaway. So that's what I would do, right? You can choose all of those options, empty your tank, rod it, jet it, do all that if you want, replace it if you want, but if you're looking for a viable, realistic option that works, it's cost effective, that'll save you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 quid, right? Just put some soakaway worms in. So I hope that's helped, Sandra. Okay, so next question, let's have a look. Next question, okay. We got another question from John from Bristol. Hold on, John, just let me get rid of that. John from Bristol is asking, what is the easiest and simplest way to avoid all the new septic tank regulations? Okay, so if I just put here how to avoid all the new rules and regulations, the new regulations. Okay, if I just put that there. Okay, so how can you avoid all the new septic tank regulations that are coming into force? Okay, all the new regulations that are coming into force means that you now have to apply to the government for planning approval. No, it's not the same as planning permission. Everyone's got to pay 450 quid and fill out a load of forms, and then the council man will come round and then he'll look at your tank and they'll either pass it or fail it. All right, so that's what's coming down the line. But there's a really simple and easy way, free way, won't cost you a penny, in which you can avoid all that. Have a look at this, right? All right, it's called a government compliance form. Just go onto Google and type in government compliance form. It's like a form, it's free, won't cost you a penny. It answers all the questions that the government inspectors will ask you when they come round. They'll say, what's your name, John? They'll say, John, what tank have you got in? What's it made from? What's the capacity of it, John? What's the location of it? You just hand him one of these, John, right? He'll look at it, he'll go, wow, okay, responsible septic tank owner. It'll answer all these questions. It'll save you 450 quid. All you do is sign it, you date it, you put one in the window of your kitchen or your utility room, hand one to your solicitor, and it will save all the flipping new regulations that are coming into force on the 1st of January 2020. All right, so that's that one. Okay, so that's 2 down. Okay, so how are we doing? So what other questions have we got there? Okay, next question is, all right, Anne from Derby. Hiya, Anne. Anne from Derby says, my septic tank smells. What can I do to stop it smelling? Very, very good question, Anne. So if I put smelly septic tank, all right, there you go. So what can you do to stop your septic tank from smelling? Well, okay, so basically you're going to laugh at this, Anne, but if you get yourself a cup full of tea leaves, listen to this now, get yourself, right, I'm going to put it on here for you, a cup of tea leaves, all right, cup of tea leaves, how to stop, right, I'll put there, stop the smelly septic tank, how to get rid of smells, right, get yourself a cup full of tea leaves, right, get one of those squeezy Jif lemon, those squeezy Jif lemons, squeeze all the Jif into the tea leaves. Now listen to this, right? Then go and put them down the toilet and flush it, right? And flush it. And literally within, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours, you'll notice that the smell will just go. It's amazing. Don't ask me why it works, but it does, Anne, all right? So get yourself a cup full of tea leaves, squeeze the Jiffy lemon into that, just let it soak into the tea leaves, go and tip it down the loo and flush, right? You do that 2 or 3, you can just do it once if you want, but depending on how bad the smell is, just literally go and do that, and within 2 or 3 hours, all the smells would go, right? So just let me tell you one more thing. The reason do you know what causes smelly septic tanks? It's cleaning products. Cleaning products cause smelly septic tanks. So if you don't want the smells to come about in the first place, just go to the supermarket and get yourself something called Ecova. Right? Get yourself something called Ecova. Right, I'll just spell it on here. Ecova. There you go. Go and get yourself some Ecova washing up liquid. They do washing powder, they do bleaches, they do toilet cleaners. But the difference being is they're not made with sulfuric acid and stuff like that, like other bleaches. They're made from actually plant-based amino acids. Okay, so that's how to stop your tank from smelling. All right, so another question. Got time for 2 more questions here. How often should I get my septic tank emptied? That is from Chris in Shropshire. All right, Chris. So how often should you get your septic tank emptied? Well, I would do it 1 or 2 times a year. All right. once to twice a year. Okay, septic tank emptying. I'll just put that there. Septic tank emptying. All right, so you need to get your tank emptied once or twice a year. Why? Because over the course of the year, it fills up with fat, excuse me, and grease and sludge. And the fat and the grease and the sludge can block your soakaway up. So you need to get it done once a year. It will cost you, I don't know, depending on where you live, 100, 200, 250 quid a time. So it's also a requirement from building regs. And basically, it stops your tank from developing problems. All right. So that is the recommendation from building regs once or twice a year to get your septic tank empty. And if you want to completely, right, not have to pay 200 quid, 300 quid every time you get your septic tank empty, then here's a really simple tip for you. Go on the internet and type in soakaway worms, right? Soakaway worms. They eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge, so you never have to get it emptied. So that's a free tip I've given you there. All right. If you want to not ever have to get your septic tank empty, go and put something called soakaway worms in there. All right. So I've got time for one last question. One more question. Okay. All right. We've got John from Telford. He's asking, what septic tank should I install? Oh, blimey, that's a bit of a loaded question. What septic tank should I install? All right, well, John, I'll try and give it the simple answer. There's two types of septic tanks, right? Two types of septic tanks. There's two types of septic tanks, right? There is an onion-shaped septic tank, and there is a bullet shape. Kind of low profile. You've probably seen them. They're look like submarines, low profile tank. Okay, so those are the two types of tanks on the market today. Bullet shaped low profile tank. They look something like, I suppose, a submarine, something like that. Or you've got the onion ones. So the onion ones look like this. Okay, let's see if we can get that right. That's it, something like that. And the low profile ones look something like that. Personally, if you just want the short answer, getting straight to the point, I'd go for the bullet shape every single time. And I'll tell you why. Because not only are they 2/3 shallower to put in the ground, that means you haven't got to spend another day or 2 days digging. You don't have to pay the extra money out on getting a bigger digger. The low profile septic tanks, that you can put them in with granular backfill, such as sand, such as shingles, such as gravel, stuff like that. On the onion ones, you've got to flip in. What they don't tell you is you've got to spend like 600-700 quid, right, concrete in the flipping things in. If you don't concrete them in, they just pop out and float out the ground. So whilst they're typically about 100 quid cheaper to buy than a low profile tank, they end up costing you about 1,200-1,500 quid to install by the time you've got a bigger digger, by the time you use all the concrete, and they take a week to put in and you dug a big hole. Whereas these, you can just literally get them in 50 minutes, an hour. And, you know, so whereas that would cost you 1,200-1,300 quid to install, that would probably just cost you the price of the tank and some shingle around it. So there you go. I hope that's kind of answered your questions. Thank you very, very much for your questions. Keep them coming. I've got to go now. I told you it was a quick one, but look, I'll give you one more tip, right? One more free tip. Here we go. Here's one more free tip. If you'd like to get free help, free information, free advice, then just go onto Google and type in Septic Tank TV. It's as simple as that. I do live broadcasts every day. I love helping people for free. You'll get loads of free advice, free information. Don't want a penny off you. There's no sales pitches. Septic Tank TV. So listen, thank you very much for watching my live broadcast today. You take care. Have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.